Good morning. If you saw the first part of these walks in Winchester, you might remember that we walked through King's Gate, and I said that this is one of the two surviving medieval gates in the city. Today's walk starts by walking through the other gate. This is the West Gate, and was part of the city walls. Originally built by the Anglo-Saxons, the gate was rebuilt in the 12th century and modified in the 13th and late 14th centuries. The West Gate was in use until 1959, when the High Street was routed around it. This is now a museum, so let's go inside. The fine painted ceiling tiles that we can see were originally made for Winchester College in anticipation of a visit by Mary Tudor and Philip of Spain on the occasion of their marriage in Winchester in 1554. The West Gate was a debtor's prison for 150 years, and we can see some of the graffiti written by prisoners. In the 14th century modifications to the West Gate, these two inverted keyhole gun ports were built. These were used for handheld cannon, the earliest in the country. There are plenty of hands-on activities for all the family to enjoy here, so well worth a visit. We can also go up on the roof. There's a great view of Winchester from up here. If you look closely, you can see the statue of Alfred the Great, which we saw in part 1 of these Winchester walks. This area of Winchester is the site of Winchester Castle. This was originally built by William the Conqueror on an old Roman site. The castle was an important royal residence until Elizabeth I handed it over to Winchester's city authorities. It was demolished by Oliver Cromwell's forces in 1649. All that remains today is the Great Hall, and this is very near the West Gate. The Great Hall was built in Henry III's time and completed in 1235. The most striking piece that we'll see here is King Arthur's Round Table. In the 15th century, Winchester was thought to be King Arthur's Camelot, and they thought that the table dated from the 6th century. In fact, the table dates from the 13th century. The table was repainted in its present form for King Henry VIII. Around the edge of the table were painted the names of King Arthur's knights. The portrait of King Arthur is recognisably a depiction of the young Henry VIII. Until 1974, the Great Hall was an important law court. In the aftermath of the Monmouth Rebellion against the Catholic King James II, Judge Jeffreys held the first of his bloody assizes here on the 27th of August 1685. The accused included Dame Alice Lisle, who was condemned to death for harbouring fugitives. She was the last woman in England to be sentenced to be beheaded. King James II was deposed 4 years later, and Alice Lisle was posthumously pardoned by the Protestant King William III and his wife Mary. There's also a statue of Queen Victoria in the Great Hall. This was cast to mark Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee in May 1887. Behind the Great Hall is a medieval style garden called Queen Eleanor's Garden, which was created in 1986. This is a recreation of a medieval castle garden of the 13th century, in the time of Henry III and Edward I. It's named after their queens, Queen Eleanor of Provence, wife of Henry III, and her daughter-in-law, Queen Eleanor of Castile, wife of Edward I. It was opened by Her Majesty the Queen Mother in 1986 as part of the Doomsday celebrations. Turf seats and bay hedges surround a herb garden, and features include a fountain, chamomile lawn, tunnel arbour and stone seats. All the plants, mostly native, would have been grown in 13th century gardens. It feels very tranquil and a perfect place to end this walk. So that's a quick walk around the West Gate and the Great Hall in Winchester. I hope you found the video interesting. If you have, please subscribe to our channel to see more videos from the Country Traveller. Thanks for watching.